Hi, so in this video I want to make some clarifications about my last video about salicylates intolerance. I had several questions and several reactions after that video, so I wanted to answer these questions in this video. So the first thing I wanted to clarify is about the symptoms of salicylates intolerance. So the main symptoms, as I explained in my video, are rhinitis, sinusitis, polyps in the nose or in the sinus, rashes, hives, eczema, asthma, runny nose, blocked nose, and so on. So these symptoms are symptoms of salicylates intolerance. Yes, but they can be symptoms of many other types of intolerances. It can be symptoms of histamine intolerance. It can be symptoms of dairy intolerance, of gluten intolerance, of fructose intolerance, of any type of intolerances. Don't freak out if you have these symptoms. It doesn't mean that you have necessarily this salicylate intolerance. And the best way to know if you really are intolerant to salicylates is the provocation test, as I talk about, that I detail in my video about salicylates. So this provocation test is you take aspirin, or if you don't want to take chemical drugs like aspirin, you take a willow bark tea or decoction, and there, if you have a worsening of your symptoms, then chances are that yes, you have this intolerance, salicylates intolerance. So before starting a very restrictive diet with no salicylates for weeks or months, please do this provocation test if you suspect that you have this intolerance to salicylates. Okay, do this provocation test, because you will know right away if you have this intolerance. Again, you don't need to avoid these foods for weeks if actually you don't have this intolerance. So this is the first thing you need to do. Do the provocation test. Okay, and regarding aspirin, I detail how to do this provocation test in my video about salicylates intolerance, so go watch that video for more details. But then, in the end of the day, what you really need to understand is that no matter the type of food intolerance you have, whether you have salicylates intolerance, whether you have histamine intolerance, whether you have gluten intolerance, whether you have dairy intolerance, whether you have fructose intolerance, it doesn't matter what type of food intolerance you have. The root cause of your problem, the root cause of all food intolerances is, number one, leaky gut and gut dysbiosis. Number two, a congested liver. Your liver has a very hard time to get rid of toxins in your body. And number three, you have too much toxicity in your body. So your food intolerances are due to these three things. Okay, so don't freak out. If you find out that you have salicylates intolerance, it doesn't mean that you need to avoid salicylates for the rest of your life. It only means that you need to heal your gut, to heal your liver, and to support the detoxification processes in your body. If you have histamine intolerance, it's the same thing. If you have gluten intolerance, it's the same thing, and so on. Okay? So if you have any type of intolerance, yes, you need to avoid these intolerances for several weeks. Meanwhile, you heal your gut, your liver, and you support the detoxification processes in your body. Okay. So yes, it is important to know your food intolerances, but again, eliminating these foods are not the solution. The solution is to heal your gut, liver, and to support the detoxification pathways in your body. So to know your food intolerances, you can do several things. So as I said, for salicylates, you can do the provocation test. Actually, you can do that for any type of intolerance. If you suspect dairy intolerance, you can avoid dairy for like 1 or 2 weeks, completely avoid dairy. And then one day you eat lot of dairy, like cheese and yogurt, and you drink milk, and see how you feel. Do you feel like shit the next day? then maybe yes, it means that you have a dairy intolerance. Same with histamine, same with salicylates. You can avoid salicylates-rich foods for a week, let's say, for a week, and then after a week you have a day where you consume lots of salicylate-rich foods. Oranges, berries, strawberries, stuff like that. You have the list in my other video about salicylate intolerance. And if you have a worsening of your symptoms, yes, chances are that you have that intolerance. But again, regarding salicylates, the best way to know is just to take an aspirin or to take a decoction of willow bark, because these two things are very rich in salicylates, so it will be even clearer if you get symptoms from these two things compared to other foods rich in salicylates. Same if you have histamine. You can avoid histamine-rich foods for a week or two, and then one day you eat lots of histamine-rich foods and see how you react. Okay, this is one way to know if you have these intolerances. Another way is that you write a journal. You write a diary of your symptoms, the foods you eat every day, and the supplements you take every day. And you write that diary every day for at least a month. And then after a month, you can go back in your diary and read what you ate, how you felt physically, mentally after your meal, after eating this or that supplement. And then you will start to be able to connect the dots and see what causes you issues. Okay. Then there's another thing you can do. You can do a food intolerance test. It's a blood test where they test your IgGs. This is something I recommend. But I would still recommend to do the diary, because the food intolerance test can help, but it will be more complete if you also combine it with the food diary and the symptoms diary, because the food intolerance test is not a test that works 100%. Okay, I see in my practice that it helps most people, but it almost never has a 100% success rate. What I mean here is that, like, many people will say, yes, now that I eliminate these foods that came out in my food intolerance tests, I feel better. But there's one or two foods that I don't feel any difference if I eliminate them or not. Okay, so that's why I'm saying it's not 100% accurate. But I see that for most of my clients, it really helps them to do this food intolerance test and to eliminate the foods that come up in this test. And personally, doing a blood test for food intolerance tests IgG at the time when I had my gut issues, it was the very first step for me to start healing. Knowing my food intolerances, thanks to that test, was the first step for me to heal, because as soon as I eliminated the foods I was intolerant to, I stopped having diarrhea, I stopped having stomach pain, and I could start healing. So anyway, I hope I covered everything I wanted to cover in this video. But yeah, to sum up, just don't freak out if you think you might have salicylate intolerance. Just do the provocation test to see if that's really your problem. And again, anyway, any type of intolerance you have, you need to do these three things. Eliminate all toxicity from your environment and support the detox pathways in your body. 2, heal your gut and your gut dysbiosis. And 3, heal your liver. Okay, I hope this video helps. I see you in the next video. Bye bye.